Welcome to the Homestead Survivalist. Today we're going to be talking about dehydrating eggs. And I've got my helper today because she doesn't want Daddy to put her down. So we'll see what happens. You ready to do this? Want to dehydrate some eggs? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, we got a 2.5 dozen eggs in there. Blend it up. We'll get it ready for putting it into the pans and dehydrating. So, fun note, we take our shells and we actually grind them up. I shouldn't say grind them up, smash them up. And we use them in our garden to keep the cutter worms and tomato worms, whatever, the big old suckers off from the plants. Works great. So dry them out and you'll have some good defense on your plant just by spreading them around on the outside. So in order to actually dry or dehydrate your eggs, you gotta have something to put it in. I have the fruit leather, the container thing, whatever, tray, whatever you want to call it, that came with the dehydrator. Works pretty good too. It's awesome. If you don't want to pay a ton of money to buy another one, be ingenuitive. I went to the Dollar Tree or Dollar General or one of those dollar stores, bought these, cut them to size, folded them, made it so it would work for me. So I'm going to try this one-handed here and pour this stuff without dropping the camera. Now you don't want a thick layer. You want it pretty thin, but spread out evenly across the whole thing. And then we put it in. I'll show you processing that too. To get them filled up the best possible so they're not overflowing. Of course, not too thick either. So we're going to put them in the dehydrator. At 145 is the best temp that I find. But you can go to 145 to 165 temperature. And it'll take however long it needs to be nice and crispy. Sometimes you have to flip these over and make sure that there's no moisture on the bottom side. It needs more dehydrating. So I'll show you the process of putting it in and starting it up. Fruit leather tray. I have more room on this thing to keep it from spilling. Okay, started it up, 145 degrees. I put 14 hours on it. And intermittently, I'll show you different looks of the egg as you're doing it. I've done the mistake before too of not actually blending it up. And it does not dry quick enough, and it's kind of, I don't know, a pain in the butt. Some parts will be dry, other parts will be gooey. So mix it up, it makes it a whole lot easier, and it dries a lot faster. So stay tuned, I'll show you guys some more, and we'll do the powdering and the vacuum sealing or dry canning. So maybe we'll do both. We'll see. 3 hours. Still wet and a little jiggly. Starting to get a crust on it though. So we're at, what would be 8 hours and 31 left. Started at 14 hours. This is what it looks like. You can still see some kind of moisture down in there. Got a while to go, but you can see the top is almost looking like a German pancake, if anybody knows what that is. So we'll keep it going, and we'll show you what it looks like when it's all done and crumbly and thrown in the processor. Stay tuned. So roughly took about 16 hours, and you can see it's nice and crumbly. And then we'll process it up and make it into powder. Okay, we got all these pieces crumbled up from all the other sheets. Put them onto one sheet by itself. We're using a coffee grinder. It makes a nice fine powder. I'm not doing a huge batch, just kind of for a demonstration today. If we did do a bigger batch, we'd use a food processor that we have. So if you have a food processor, if you have a coffee grinder, it works just fine too. We're gonna do the pint jars, which we might need, I don't know, 2 of them or so to probably fill it up, but you'll see. Go ahead, put a bunch in there, buddy. There you go. Go ahead and push the button. Keep pushing. Couple pieces in there we need to grind up. But as you guys can see, gets it down to a nice powder. Noisemaker. Go ahead.
Well, okay.
That's right. Well, there you go, guys. Powdered dehydrated eggs. Recap was 2.5 dozen eggs that we blended, poured them in the pan, set them in the dehydrator for just over 16 hours when we pulled them out. It was 145 degrees that we set it at. You can use a food processor or your coffee grinder. I like the coffee grinder for small batches, food processor for much larger batches. So we'll do a video on dry canning and then vacuum sealing too. So stay tuned for that. But this is how you get your process ready for your dehydrated eggs. And if this is your first time watching, subscribe, like, comment, share, and we'll see you soon. Hopefully this stuff helps you guys out.